Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Phalachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannapadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yasya Dvirada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Now Sampradaya Parampara Slokani. These slokams you may not have heard before, but let me read them and then we can share the meaning of that later and also get to the slokams later. Okay. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartubhyo Pamsa Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Paplava Varahitaha Prajnana Ganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivaham Asmi. Om Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtham Shaktim Cha Tatputra Parasharam Cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Sishyam Sri Chinmayananda Mathasya Padmapadam Cha Hastamalakam Cha Sishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakara Manyanasmat Guru Gurun Santatam Manatosmi Sruti Smruti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Isvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Padvayapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Now these slokams I will send to you and then we can learn this and then understand the meaning. We say our prayers to the parampara means in our lineage. So what we have done all the way from Brahma, right from time immemorial, from Bhagavan himself, everybody going through the various Rishigal in our lineage, and then Narayanam, Padmabhavam, Vasishtham, all the various Rishigal, and then Sankaracharya, Adi Sankara.He, who his disciples have been mentioned, and then Sankaracharya himself. There are 3 slokams, and we worship him because Adi Shankara, as we call him, Shankara is what he was called, but we call him Shankaracharya and Adi Sankara.He. He has given us this gem, Bhaja Govindam, which with Bhagavan's grace we are taking up today. And the place we will start is in Kashi or Varanasi, as we call it. Benares, they call it in English, actually Varanasi. Varanasi, those of you who have been to that Punya Kshetram, and we were thrilled when we were there. There are 2 rivers that goes there, Varan and Asi. So it's called Varanasi. And that's where, of course, Ganga is there and all the things that you all would know. And there, once Adi Shankara with his disciples was walking on the streets, and then he saw a Pandit sitting by the side of the street reciting Dukrunch Karane, Dukrunch Karane, Dukrunch Karane, Dukrunch Karane, like that. Okay? So what this Pandit was doing is reciting Dukrunch Karane, like that. And Dukrunch is in Sanskritam what we in English call as grammar. It's called Vyaharanam in Sanskrit. Vyaharana Sastram, and those of you who have read or heard, for example, Sundara when the description of Hanuman comes, you will see that he was a great scholar in all the 6 Sastras, including Vyaharana Sastram. And when just before he decides in what language to talk to Sita in Ashokavanam, he goes through, and he describes Sanskritam very beautifully there, and it's a language that is decorated, that's jeweled by this Vyaharana Sastram. So Vyaharanam is the Sanskritam grammar we call in English, but Vyaharanam. And one of the grammatical elements is Dukrunch. And so this Pandit is reciting, the various rules pertaining to that, Dukrunch Karane, like that. So Adi Sankara, along with disciples, they were just passing on, and then immediately stopped and he retraced his steps. And then he started asking him, what are you doing? And he says, sir, this is what I'm doing. I'm learning the grammar. I want to become very, very strong and very good at it. So why do you want to become good at it? What are you going to do with it? No, then I can go to the king and I can show him my scholarship. Why do you want to do that? Then he will give me some rewards. Then he will give me some wealth, certain things. And why would you want all those? Then with that, I will take it home and I can maintain my family and the household. This is what I want to do. And then, out of infinite compassion for that man, and through him, to all of us, Bhagavad Pada poured out in 12 slokams that he gave. They are extremely musically very simple, and they are, those of you who have heard M.S. Subbulakshmi's Bhaja Govindam, you know that how musical they are. They are very sweet, they are very musical, and it poured out spontaneously with so much love and affection for not only the protection of that Pandit, but to salvage, to rescue him from the whirlpool that he's been caught in, and to show him the pathway. And that's how the Bhaja Govindam started. And normally those of us who have been fortunate enough to have learned, for example, Carnatic music in our younger days, from teachers, especially from real advanced, great Vidwans, when you learn from them, when you make a mistake, the teacher does not mince words. He does not sugarcoat. He tells you bluntly, in black and white, in the most precise manner, what mistake you made. And that was good for us, because it's also good for our ego. But later on, you find, especially nowadays, that you have to sugarcoat your teaching. You have to say it in a very sweet way, in a very acceptable manner, and sometimes in an indirect way. And so you don't have this straightforward hammer stroke type of teachings are not available. But that's what this Bhaja Govindam is. The Bhaja Govindam does not mince words. It does not mince words. It comes directly to the point and hits you on the head of the nail. Just like the way a hammer hits a nail, the teachings and the one that Bhagavan is partaking to us, asking us to do, comes just like the head of the nail. The hammer hits it. It hits us on our head. So it is actually called Moha Mudgaram. Okay, Moha Mudgaram is the name that is given to it. Mudgaram means hammer, and Moham means delusion, attachment, the wrong thoughts that we are carrying around all the time, thinking of ourselves as different from Bhagavan, who is residing in us and residing outside of us also. We think that we are different from him. That thought, that wrong thought, that delusion, that is called moham. And to remove that and to hit it on the head and to kill it, basically to destroy it, like with a hammer stroke, is called mudgaram. So the slokams, this compilation of the slokams is also called moha mudgaram. And because the very first teaching, the slokam begins with Bhaja Govindam, the whole compilation of slokams is also called Bhaja Govindam. Now, after Shankara taught him the first 12 slokams, his sishyas, his disciples who were with him, they just could not contain themselves because it was spontaneous, it was overflowing, not only in the melody, in the sweetness, in the truth and the precision of the message and the teaching, but also in the love with which it was being conveyed. So it was infectious. And when the teacher finished the 12 slokam, each of the disciples added one slokam to it. They just could not contain themselves. They started in the same vein, the same meter, the same style, the same message, in the same hammer stroke style of conveying, teaching. They all sang, gave one slokam each. So totally, now there is the compilation of slokams. It's got through. There are different versions of this, which especially towards the end, in some version you will find the order of slokams could be different, and sometimes some of the lines are interplaced. But regardless of all that, the message remains the same. So in most of the versions, you will see a total of 31 slokams. And in some places, you also have 32 versions. So I think we will cover the 32 versions. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is the very first 12 slokams that Bhagavad Padal gave, and that is also called Dvadasa Manjarika. Dvadasa Manjarika. Dvadasa. You understand the meaning of it. Dva means 2. Dasa means 10. So 2 plus 10 is 12. Okay, Dvadasa. Manjarika. Manjarika means a bouquet of flowers. That's what it means. So Dvadasa Manjarika. It's like 12 flowers, a bouquet of 12 flowers. And then later on, the other slokams composed by the disciples, and that is called Charpada Pancharika. So it comes later, and that we will cover that later. First, let's take the Dvadasa Mancharika. So Moha Mudgaram, Bhaja Govindam, and starting with Dvadasa Mancharika. Now I hope you all have the printouts with you. Now these good singers can also sing these slokams very beautifully, and you can memorize them very easily. And before we go into that, let me give you the definition of what the word Sishya means, okay? So that we all can aspire to be at that position of a Sishya, listening to Adi Sankara.He himself teaching us this. But what is a Sishya means? There are 3 ways to look at it. The first one is Sikshate iti Sishyaha. Sishyaha, now Anand, it means a disciple, a student. Okay, disciple is a better word. So who's a disciple? That's what we're talking. Sikshate iti Sishyaha. That is one who is taught by the teacher. One who is taught by the teacher is a disciple, is a Sishya. Now the second definition is Sishyate Visishyate Sastradi Parignanena Bahirmukha Apekshya iti Sishyaha. Once more, Sishyate Visishyate Sastradi Parignanena Bahirmukha Apekshya iti Sishyaha. So what does this mean? One who has improved himself, or one who has become better, And now he is kind of withdrawn from the external senses and objects and more interested in the inward journey. And as a result of his study of the various sastras. So the first one who is taught by the teacher, and as you are taught by the teacher, the various sastras and all that, you slowly start withdrawing from the attraction of the external world and becoming more attracted by the internal world because you have studied the sastras and imbibed them. So that's the second definition of a sishya. Third one would be Indriyadi pravrittim sikshyati iti sishyaha. Indriyadi pravrittim sikshyati iti sishyaha. One who controls and curbs the activities of one's own sense organs. One who controls and curbs the activities of one's own sense organs. So this is now you can see the progression of a disciple. First, he is taught by the teacher. Second, because he is taught by the teacher, the various sastras, he imbibes them, understands them, reflects on them, and puts them into practice. Then he develops a natural distaste for the attractions of the world around him and starts going internally, starts the inward journey. As he starts the inward journey, obviously his senses are in much better control. He's curbing them, not allowing them to be attracted and fall prey to the external object. So that's the definition of a sishya. So with that, let's go to the first slokam. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte San Nihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati, Dukrunch Karane. Once more. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte San Nihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati, Dukrunch Karane. Now, Bhaja. Now, we all know the word bhajan. We do go and do bhajans and all that. But what does bhaja really signify in Sanskritam? Okay, it is not just getting together in a group and singing some songs. No, and it's got a tremendous. The root word bhaj is a huge significance. That means you pray and yearn for the Lord. And you cannot stand being separated from him, and you almost merge in him. You want him, you embrace him. That mental attitude and the anubhavam, the experience that comes out of it is bhaja. Okay, so mentally think of Bhagavan, mentally love him, be devoted to him, and mentally. The feeling is, or the experience in the mind is one that you cannot be separated from him. You cannot be away with him, like the way Meera was, for example. Okay, so that is bhaja. So how can we do that to start with? We are not at the stage. Doesn't matter. We can take the first step. Okay, and just start thinking of Bhagavan in our mind, and then think of him with love and affection. That's very important. Love, as much love as I love anything else, as much as love as I love myself, I must love Bhagavan. Because that's all we have to do. We must love him as much as we love anything else, if not more. That's a starting point that we can have. Govindam. So, Govindam has got, again in Sanskritam, several meanings. Very interestingly, the first time the name Govinda was used by Indra when this child Krishna lifted the Govardhana mountains. And then after pouring rain for a week and nothing moved, and then Indra came and fell at the feet of Bhagavan and addressed him as Govinda. And Govinda means number of things, but ultimately it means only one thing. Okay, going through the Sanskrit meaning of it, the Govinda, the very first meaning, the word go, immediately we think of Pasumada, cow. That is fine. Go has got four meanings actually. One is Mother Earth, the other is the cow. It also, go also means Vedam. Okay, and go also means mother. So it's got different meaning. So Govinda, if you think of it as Mother Earth, it means one who knows, who has understood and found the earth. What does finding the earth mean? One who and realized through personal experience the support, the entity, the substratum, the thing that is supporting the whole world. Right? Once I experience, and through my experience I know what it is, because intellectually I cannot understand it. If I experience the supporter of the whole world, then that entity that is supporting, that is Govinda. Okay. Then of course the Lord of the cattle, which means one who protects, takes care of, and nourishes, and cares for and takes care of the cattle. That is another meaning. And third, of course, is the meaning which shows, now I am talking and you're listening, we all talk at different point in time, we make different sounds of noises. Not only us, even a dog makes a different noise, a bird makes a different noise, and even when wind blows on a tree, the leaves make noises, right? I mean, if you really look at it, the whole universe, so to speak, is Sabdamayi. Bhagavan is present in the form of Sabdam, in the form of sound. Okay, among other things. Sabdamayi is one. So, what is it that creates a sound? Where does the sound come from? If you really look at it, if we ever analyze it, we think we are coming from our mouth. No, it is not. Okay, we have to think deeper than that. What is the origin? Where does the sound come from? Bhagavan now manifests himself as sound, as Sabdam. And that entity that manifests itself as sound, as speech, as whatever noise that we make, and we make all these various kinds of noises. When we speak, we call it a speech. Okay? And when animal makes, we give it different types of different name to it. But all of them basically sounds. That's all. The same way, I'm speaking in English, and we are able to understand it. It's a language. We call it as English. I speak it, and then you understand it. I speak in Tamil, you understand it, and some of you don't. Then somebody may understand Hindi. These are all different formulations of sound, but they are there with one purpose, and the purpose is to communicate, to share. And what am I sharing? I'm sharing knowledge, what I know and what I don't know also. What I don't know is also one part of knowledge. Ultimately, the sound is there to convey the true knowledge, which is nothing but love. When you speak to someone for a very kind manner, kind words, for example, somebody is suffering, and you give him some kind words of solace, how nicely he feels. And when you give a word of appreciation to someone, how nicely they feel. At the same time, you denounce somebody with your word, how badly they feel. When you are very cruel with your words, even though you may not hit them physically, how much of a blow they take. So words are extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Words, that means sound, conveying something, is extremely powerful. Same way the birds, animals, every creation of Bhagavan conveys in a language that they understand through this sound. And this sound, this form of sound, the origin of this so-called speech, that is Govinda. And the fourth meaning of Govinda is one, as I mentioned to you, Go means also denotes Vedan. So one who is revealed to us through Vedans, one who is worshipped, whose glory the Vedas all sing, and out of which, we the aspects of this entity is revealed to us, right? That is Govinda. So Bhaja Govindam. Ultimately, it is on a very personal level. Govinda is none other than the one that makes my body move, makes my mind move, and makes my intelligence move, and gives me peace, gives me happiness, gives dukkam so I can move to happiness. The one that is always with me as a witness, as a sakshi, whatever you want to call him, we all know that I am not who I think I am, and there is something else out there. That something else, that entity that is constant, always present, wherever you are, whichever time and the place, doesn't matter, it's always there. That does not change, not an iota does it change. Constantly it is there. And that gives us a protection. That entity is Govinda. So Bhaja Govindam. Okay? So Mudamate, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja, Mudamate. Mudamate, Muda is, in English we call it as fool. But what is the real meaning of Muda? Muda is one who's ignorant. Why is it ignorant? Will you do something consciously to harm yourself? Will any one of us do something that is consciously to harm ourselves? But that is what we are doing with the way that we are acting right now, living right now, and the way we are thinking and going about. And so Acharya addresses us, addresses me if I am listening to him, addresses you if you are listening to him as a Muda. You ignoramus. That means you are bringing harm to yourself. You are not using the buddhi that has been given to you properly. Therefore, you are harming yourself. Self-harming, right? So, Muda, fool. And to put it in another way, Muda, mate. Mati means the mind. It is not being properly utilized. You are not using it. A fool, listen. You do be devoted to Govinda. Do bhajane. Think of him in your mind. Think of him with love. Okay? That is what he says. Why? The next question is, why should I do that? Samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukrunch karane. Samprapte. Prapte means to attain, to arrive at. Samprapte. When the thing comes. Sannihite. Samprapte means to attain, to obtain. What are you obtaining? Sannihite kale. Sannihite means, nihita means basically coming to an end. Sannihite, the ending. Kale, time. That means the time of death. When you obtain the time of death, that means at the time of leaving this body and going away, at that time, nahi, never, absolutely no. It's repeated twice. No, nahi, here means, na means no. He means certainly, with firmness. He says, and he repeats it twice. Nahi. It is not the Hindi nahi, okay, which is one word. Okay, Hindi nahi is one word. That means no. But here, nahi. That means it is no, certainly no, to put it translated crudely. So, never, what happened? Dukrunch karane rakshati. This, you are reciting this dukrunch karane, this knowledge that you gain through grammar, or to expand it, the knowledge you get of all the worldly matters, scholarship and whatever else you get, none of them is going to rakshati, is going to protect you at the time of leaving this body. That's the first message. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati, Dukrunch Karane. With that, we will conclude today, and take up the next few slokams tomorrow. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.